Previously on Perfect Jacket, I focused on sleeves. So I did all different styles of sleeves, and once I'd made the jackets, I showed you all the different patterns. This week, we are focusing on all different necklines. So, yes, hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. In today's exciting episode, as I just said, we are focusing on making a bunch of different jackets, ladybugs, and we are looking at different necklines. It's my little army of partially made jackets. That's flamingos, cherries, all sorts.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
So when you're seeing this, it is going to be next Sunday, and that is the Tartan Parade in New York City. So I am going to make a jacket out of that adorable Highland cow fabric for that occasion, but last week I focused on doing all different types of sleeves. This week I'm going to focus on different types of necklines. So at the end of the year sales, I bought all these fabrics. They were super cheap. A lot of them were 70% off, and some of them were even more than that off. So it does look like a lot of fabric, but I did not spend much money at all. Anyway, so these are the fabrics, and you've seen the fabric haul that I did. I divided them into colours, and you've seen the fabric haul I did of the pink fabrics. I've used the watermelon fabric to make two delightful little boleros. One I finished beading, the other one I've done the watermelon on the back, but I haven't done the overall beading. Anyway, so we'll be using them, and I also went through my fabrics. I've got the ladybug fabric and this rose fabric. I've only got half a yard of each, and previously I was making Chanel style jackets, which for my particular size takes at least 1 yard of fabric, so I couldn't do anything with them then. But I originally bought these remnants because I wanted to make I had a couple of reds of fabrics, and I wanted to use the ladybird one as a bodice for a red dress, and then I wanted to use the other one like near the bottom of the leg cake red dress. Anyway, I ended up making the poppy dress instead. But anyway, so I'm going to make boleros with them now. And also, see how I made this vintage bolero with two different fabrics, so it's reversible. Well, I still have half the gold fabric and half the pink fabric, but it took a lot more, like quite a bit more than half. I definitely had a yard of the pink, and I think I had 1.5 or 2 yards of the yellow. Anyway, so I'm going to use the remainder of the pink as well, because we're having a pink theme. So I started cutting out the fabrics, and if I do tiny sleeves, because we're experimenting with necklines now, not sleeves, so I don't have to try and get different types of sleeves out of them. So I've basically, with the default, I've gone with the tiniest sleeve, which is that cute capped one. Because this flamingo fabric is so directional, I had to cut out the sleeve in 2 pieces because there wasn't enough room to do it in 1 piece. So then I just carefully folded under the raw edge and hand stitched the two together. So it's got a nice soft seam. If you sew your 2 bits of fabric together with machine, it's a hard seam, and you'll be able, your eye will catch that. So if you do it with a soft seam, then the sleeve will sit nicely, nice and round. Anyway, so this is me cutting out all the bits, and then once I'd cut out all the bits for the fronts, the backs, and the sleeves, then the next step is to cut out all the structural layer. So most of the fabric I'm using is light colored, so I've gone with the white netting to do, and because I'm going to do a lot of beading on each one, I'm doing 2 layers. So oh my gosh, there is so much cutting out to do for this. It is ridiculous. So yes, as I cut out a batch, then I pin them all to it because I'm doing different necklines. I've got like 5 or 6 how many, yeah, like 5 or 6 different fronts, and then I've got a cropped or a standard back, and then the sleeves, most of the sleeves are short. And so yeah, I just cut them all out, and once I cut out a bunch, then I pinned 2 bits of netting together to make the structural layer. Then I pinned the outer layer, the fabric, onto it. And then once I'd done all that for the fronts and the backs, the fronts and the sleeves, then I machine sewed, because I'm making the outer jacket, then I'm doing all the beading, then I'm making the lining. So I have to hand finish all the way around the neckline, the bottom, the cuffs of the sleeves, and the center front. So I have cut out all the backs, but I haven't cut out the structural layers because I was so overcutting netting at this point. Fronts are done, sleeves are done, because I have to machine sew the hemline for the seam line for the sleeves and sew the sleeves together. And then yes, and this is that half jacket that I used, that 1950s bolero with the 3/4 sleeves, the leftover fabric. I finally, oh my gosh, it took me so long to, I literally had to had 2 pieces, 2 sleeve patterns, 2 front patterns, and 1 back pattern, and I laid them out. Finally, I squeezed them in a way that I could get all the pieces out. It's got an extra cropped back, but yeah, so I cut that out as well. And so I've machine sewed all my sleeves and all my fronts, and now I just have to turn back and pin all the seams that need to be hand finished. And then I still have the back of each jacket to do as well, but I'll just do this first, and then I'll do the backs because that'll be easier. So here I've clipped all the curves and I've pinned it. And as you can see, the back is very cropped, but that's the only way. I've got about an inch square of fabric spare, all the little slithers in between each pattern piece. As I am such a zero waste person, it's ridiculous. So anyway, yes, so then I pinned everything up, and so you can see I've pinned back the seam allowance on the underarm seam, and I've turned up all the sleeves, and this is me going along and just hand stitching up the cuffs, and I'm just doing 1 pair at a time. And then yes, so and yeah, this is me showing you that it's actually in fact done. Of course it's done. Anyway, so I'm doing them, and because I've done 2 jackets mostly got 2 jackets out of each type of fabric, I have to be really, really careful that I don't mix up the sleeves. Otherwise I'll have a jacket with 2 lefts and another jacket with 2 rights. So yes, I'm being very, very careful to keep each unique pair of sleeves together, which is a little confusing. And this one is pretty fabulous. I'm very impressed with myself that I actually got a bolero jacket out of that tiny bit of fabric that I had left. So now I'm just going along and carefully hand stitching all these all these sleeves. I did too many. I did way too many. But we will see. This is the first week in a very, very long time where I've only got to do 1 video. And I know it's 1 long video as opposed to 3 shorter videos, but it's still, I don't have to stop everything I'm doing, and I don't have to do something from start to finish. I can just do everything. And so we'll see if this way, doing a big batch in tiny little, in doing all the sleeves, then doing all the fronts, then making the backs. We'll see if I get more done this week than I have done in previous weeks, because I don't have to stop and start and everything. So yeah, it does take a long time. So every now and again I stopped and I just counted all my little sleeves. This is the last sleeve. It is very exciting. And so I'm the fabrics I'm using are, I think the Ladybug one is a rayon and a couple of them are cotton satines. This one is a quilting cotton. Oh no, it's a cotton canvas, so it is 100% cotton, but it's more like a denim type, like it's really sturdy cotton fabric, and most of them are quilting cottons. Okay, so all my little sleeves, my army of sleeves are done, and they're nestling in each other so that I don't mix up which jacket they're for. So now what I have to do is hand stitch. Well, I don't have to, but it's either this or cut out the rest of the netting for the back pieces, for the structural layer of the back pieces. So we'll do this first. And if I do half the hand sewing now, before I cut out the back bits, it will just reduce the total amount of hand finishing that I have to do once the jacket is actually made. So that is what we're doing, because I want to make the whole outer jacket, then bead it, then make the lining. I have to finish all the edges. So that's why I did the sleeves, and now I'm doing the full front, the neckline and the center fronts. This one is adorable. It's a cotton sateen, so it's a little bit thicker than a standard cotton, and it's woven differently, which gives it that more luxurious sheen. I really like that square neckline too. So now this is one of the, managed to get 2 jackets out of the flamenco one, which is why I had to piece together the flamenco sleeves, and this one here is completely adorable. This is the other cotton sateen, and last year I made a video about how I wanted to turn this into a jacket and how I wanted to use fabric flowers and floral beads on this. So this is, I've just pinned a couple of fabric flowers on there. So it's the fabric flower and then the plastic sort of sequin flower, and then this is footage from a very long time ago of these transparent and froze, like they look like frosted glass, but they're actually just plastic beads. So I think on one of them I'll use the flowers, sequins and the flower shaped beads on the one, and then the other one I'll just do beading like standard beads. So yes, that's what I'm doing with those two. And then next I hand stitch the neckline for this one. So I'll show you the necklines that I've got. So this is the jacket pattern that I'm using, although it's barely recognizable, Burda 6120, and then it had the deep V. So I've got a deep V, and at the bottom I do a rounded bottom, and yeah, so sometimes it's going into a cropped back, sometimes it's going into a midi length back. And then I've got I've got the original neckline with the rounded bottom, and then I've got the A, B, C. A is the deep V neck, B is a sort of like my standard Chanel neckline, but a little bit lower. And then C, I think, is a square one. D is a sort of a scoop, but with a different side neckline. So they're all slightly different, and I'm just, whichever one I like the most is what the Highland cow jacket is going to be made out of, because the Highland cow jacket is it's a plaid or a tartan. It's got a really strong pattern, so I think I'm only going to be able to get one jacket out of it, which is why I went off on this, spiraled off onto this. Which neckline? I'll do lots of different alternate ones. So yes, I'm going to make all these jackets and then hopefully have time to decide which I will make the tartan one out of. I'm still not sure how I'm going to get to pattern match the sleeves, because yeah, it's a little difficult to pattern match when you've got a puff sleeve. Like, where do you pattern match? I guess just straight across the chest. But anyway, and this is me showing you each time I finished one, I sort of picked it up and picked the camera up and just took, because yeah, doing the hand stitching takes so long. So yes, I finished this one. It looks, because the backing, the netting that I've used as the backing fabric is so white. It sort of makes this look very off-white and very old. But if you just see the fabric and not anything else around it, it looks quite nice. Okay, I've had a break and now it is time to get back to it. I still have loads of jackets to do. Okay, well, this footage is a teensy bit old. I have done one of the strawberry ones. I've got these sort of beads that look like old candy. They're sort of creamish colour and red. I think they'll be good on that. It's one of the strawberry ones, but the other strawberry one, I think I'm going to do like pink beads on that. Anyway, so I've still got all of these to do, and I can't forget to do that other one up on the mannequin as well. I love that one. I'm so proud of the fact that I got all of that out of the it was such a tiny bit of fabric. I keep forgetting to do before shots. Like, I'm like, isn't this after shot really impressive? It would be more impressive if you'd showed us the fabric beforehand. Anyway, so I've got all these left to do. I like all the fabrics, but I think my favorite at the moment is the ladybug, because that is just straight up adorable. I'm not sure how I'm going to be that. Probably like I could just do red on the red and black on the black beads. I don't know. I just love that it's a ladybug. But like silhouette wise, I think the most surprising, in a good way, one so far has been this one, this square neckline. Like, of course it makes a difference what it looks like on, but I think this looks really good. I definitely think it'll look amazing with gold beading on it. Anyway, I've still got loads of hand finishing to do, lots of hand stitching. I will be back. Hopefully I'll have done all of this. Let's see. Yay, gold star for me. I finished them. So this is me just, in film time, I haven't finished them yet, but me doing the editing, I have. So I just took a little snippet each time I finished one, because, it's a lot of hand sewing. This one, I decided to get out the other version. So I had managed to get 2 jackets out of most of the fabrics. And one of them is the sort of deep scoop neck, and the other one, it's a slightly longer one, and it's got the Chanel, like the standard Chanel neckline. So those two are going to be quite different. And then the cherry one, and then the second flamingo one, the other flamingo one is also like that black flower one. It's slightly longer and it's got the high standard classic Chanel sort of neckline. And then I think this might be the last one. I think. It's so cute. Oh, this is me pointing out that the strawberries, they've got a shadow on them, but it looks like, and so the shadow is lighter than the rest of the strawberry. So it looks like the dye was right, the printing process was wrong or something. It was cheap. Oh, and this is me just pointing out that I've got to do the backs next. I've got to cut out the structural layer for the backs before I can sew them together. So this is me just gloating. I'm very proud of all the ones that I just did, but then I remember that I haven't done the hand stitching on this one. So I get it down off the mannequin, and I've clipped the curve around the neckline. Oh, this is me just... This fabric, it looks really different during the day. So the blue in it looks sort of like a denim blue, but during the day it looks more like a tealy denim sort of thing. So it looks like faded denim but teal. And yeah, anyway, so I'm just sort of, as I'm working on them, I sort of think about what colours to bead them with. So I guess scarlet, because the scarlet looks scarlet like during the day and at night. But it's such a tiny jacket. I think I'd probably only wear it during the day. It's not like, I love how vintage it looks, but I'm not sure I'd wear it in any formal capacity. So yeah, I think it'll be a mostly daytime jacket. And here it is during the day, and I'm standing up, so it looks a lot better. And I've got the other one beside it for comparison. So yeah, I do like those gold beads on that I'm using as a necklace. They're just beads that I haven't used yet. So I don't know. And I think it's because the other part of this fabric that I used was on that reversible 1950s bolero, so maybe that's why I just think mustardy gold goes with it. Anyway, back to the jackets. So I'm cutting out the structural layers, 2 layers of netting for all the backs because I did all the fronts. So now I'm cutting out and I'm going along and I'm just, once I cut out the 2 structural layers, I pin them together, then I pin the 2 netting layers together with the fabric layer, and then I pin the once the whole 3 layers of the back are together, then I pin them together with the fronts, the 2 fronts, and at the shoulders and at the sides, and then I machine sew them. And so I finished the back of the neckline as well as sewing them together at the shoulders, sewing them together at the sides, and the back of the jacket, just the hem, needs to a seam line marked on it as well. So all that is done. It took a while, oh my goodness. And as I was taking out pins, once I finished one torso of a jacket, I just used the pins, dozen or so pins I had to start pinning each jacket so that the task wouldn't be so daunting once I finished the sewing machine. Plus, I just don't like using a machine to sew. Anyway, so now I've got loads of these. So I need to finish clipping the curves at the back of the neck, pinning up all the bits that need to be hand sewed, and then I have to do with the hand sewing. But we'll take a break from my jackets and talk about this month's sewing challenges, April 2025, because Stash Hub is not sponsored, but that's where I get this information from. They do a blog most months of all the sewing challenges, but also you can just download their app and arrange all your fabric stash. And I haven't done it because I'm lazy daisy, but I've got loads of fabrics, but I've just got 1 yard of them, or I've got dress fabrics and I've got 4 yards of the ones that would look good as a vintage dress and 2 yards of ones that would look good as a simple dress. And those are the amounts that I buy like all the time. So it's not a mystery about how much fabric I have, or the tweeds are someplace, the non-tweed jacket fabrics are another place, and the silks are all carefully in the silk. So yeah, I don't know, you have to put so much time into it. But then I saw this other sewing YouTuber, she has over 1 mile of fabric, and she obviously has a very large house. She stores it in a garage apparently. But yeah, so I guess there's a point to it if you have it to cataloguing it, if you have a collection of fabric that is that vast. Anyway, so sewing challenges. The first one for April is sew April blouse. So you sew a top, a shirt, or a blouse, and then if you do the hashtag sew April blouse 25 and you tag the 2 people running the challenge, then you can go into the competition and perhaps win some prizes. And then the next one is that you just have to sew a top in April, which is pretty straightforward. And then the spring bag making challenge, it's just this company that sells bag making kits, and you can go online and make a bag. So that sounds quite useful. But I just like simple bags because I just want to heavily bead them. So I just want the bag to be as simple as possible. But if you want one with zips and studs and things like that, then I think that would be really helpful because it'll tell you how to do all the steps. With bag making, more so than perhaps dress making or jacket making, you really, really, really have to follow the instructions, and you can't skip a step. Otherwise, you can't get to the next step. You have to sew this tiny bit, then turn the fabric around a certain way, then sew this tiny bit. And if you don't do all the steps in the right order and just you have to leave the right amounts and do the right amounts. So it is a bit finicky bag making. So I think going online and talking to other people who've done the same pattern before would be really helpful, I think. Next we have, this one is a little bit of an odd duck. What you have to do is between 27th of March and 27th of April, there's a couple of people you have to tag and, make it and then put it on Instagram if you want to be part of the competition. But the actual project is an upcycling challenge. So you take a top, a blouse or a shirt or a jacket that you don't wear anymore, and it's some problems with it, and you have to, it's a real test for your creativity. You have to reimagine a top garment into a lower garment. So a jacket, sweatshirt, top, blouse, shirt into skirt, pants, leggings, tights, or something like that. I don't know. It sounds kind of weird. I'm more likely to go the other way. Like, I would happily buy a pair of totally wrecked jeans, cut up all the bits, and then make a cropped jacket out of it. I think that would be cool. It'll be like you'd have all the shag from all the ripped knees and the rips in the places that make the jeans unwearable. But if you sort of patch them all together, you could make a nice jacket out of that. But the other way around, I don't know. If you had a really billowy blouse with really puffy sleeves, I guess you could, I don't know. I tend to wear fitted jackets and then just plain t-shirts. So I don't know. To me, that just seems weird. Like, yeah, and I just wear yoga pants or jeans, and that's that's it. Unless I'm wearing a dress or a skirt. But yeah. Anyway, each their own. So there is that one. Next up, we have make a garment a month, and there's a different theme for each month or a different prompt. And this month is April, and so it's Admire April. So you find someone else, sewing YouTuber or someone on Instagram or someone on Pinterest, and if you admire their style, what do you admire about it, and what elements do you want to take from it? So it's not stealing their ideas, but just what do you like about it. So yeah, because I get so many creepy people saying, where did you get the fabric, where did you get the beads, where did you get, like, some of the stuff I've had for like 10-15 years, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe this country, maybe that country. But yeah, and but it's just so creepy. It's like, you can't become me by stealing my ideas and copying them exactly. I buy something because I like the city and it was a really pretty fabric, and I enjoyed walking around the store. And this fabric here was like, there was one that was way more expensive and absolutely amazing. There were also a couple that were less. And, this is the one that I could afford, of all the ones that I really, really liked. And so, yeah, and I'm really happy with the colors. And, what makes me smile isn't what's going to make other people smile, and what makes me happy is not. Anyway, so just make sure you're looking at the right things, I think, when you admire. Each month after they give you the prompts, they also give you a fun fact, and it said, it might be tempting to think about imitation as the greatest form of flattery until you consider Oscar Wilde's full quote, imitation is the nearest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. So be inspired, but feel free to not slavishly copy. Yes, I totally second that. So Yeah, I love Pinterest. If you haven't used Pinterest or it doesn't work for you, it's very, very algorithm based. So it's very based on how you've used Pinterest previously. So I do get a lot of people saying, no, Pinterest, I've tried it, it's not good. So if I've put a link to my Pinterest if you go to my YouTube homepage, it says, like, I think there's a thing, other links, and it's got my Instagram, which is just pictures of designer jackets. And then if you go to the second one is my Pinterest, and it's like over 50,000 photos of just designer and unique handmade clothing, just handmade things, antique brooches, vintage clothing, sewing patterns. It's just a whole bunch of different things with all different categories. And yeah, so if Pinterest is never really working for you and Instagram isn't your thing, and yeah, that might help. It's a good starting space. So if you haven't used Pinterest before, you just click on a photo, and then down below it shows you all similar photos or other images you might like. So even if you start from, you sort of start from the same place, but you end up in a completely different place because what you prefer. It's like a choose your own adventure. Even if you all start on the same picture, you'll end up in completely different places because everyone has their own priorities. I admired this brooch, and I'm going to make one of my make nines is a cottage garden jacket, and I figured out how to do that beading. So I guess my admire one will be making a cottage garden jacket using that brooch for inspo, but also I use designers as the inspiration all the time, like this Alexander McQueen vintage brooch jacket, which I'm going to do my own version of. Then next we have, this one happens every month, and it's supposed to just keep you inspired and accountable. So whatever you make in the month, you post on Instagram and you use the hashtag and you tag the right people. So it's my makes for April. So yes, whatever you make, then take a photo of it, wearing it, or just, hanging up, and then post it on Instagram. And if you need motivation, I'm currently making about 11 jackets. So I think I need whatever the opposite of inspiration is. I need the opposite. I just need to focus on making one thing at a time. I've got to finish all these jackets, then make the Highland Cow one. So, but I've got to make them before I can decide on which neckline I like. So I should probably get back to that. But I do think this challenge is good if you want something to, like, you don't have an event to sew for, but you like having targets and deadlines. I think that one would work. So next, and then that's it for the month ones. And then we have continuing sewing challenges. So last sewer standing is just about using up your fabric stash instead of buying new things. You had to stop buying new things by the 14th of February, which was Valentine's Day. And then I actually bought that Highland Cow fabric after that. So bad me, I'm out of this one already. Next is 30 yard, the whole 30 yards fabric challenge. And you've got to use up 30 yards from your stash before you can buy something new. Definitely doing that one. And then we have, fabric roulette. That's where if you can't decide what you're going to do, then you go to your fabric stash and just basically close your eyes and put your hand on something, and you have to use that, or you just close your eyes again and keep going until you get something you like. And then the next one is 2 from stash. So basically you just use 2 fabrics. Instead of going to the fabric store and buying new stuff, you just go to your fabric stash and buy 2 new things. Find 2 fabrics that you really love and make something or 2 things out of them. And then we have Make 9 challenge. Yes, I really have to get on with my Make 9 challenge. And then sew 25 in 25. So that's basically you've got to sew a garment every 2 weeks for the whole month. I mean, for the whole year, gosh. And then there's a virtual sewing room where you can like go and ask people questions and stuff. So yes, and as I said, these are from Stash Hub. So I got it from the blog. I'll put the link in the description box below, but you can also just download the app. Again, I'm not sponsored. That's just, I'm not researching this myself. These are the people who did the research. So I feel like I should credit them. Anyway, I suppose I should get back to those jackets. Ugh, so much hand sewing. Don't know why I say that in a complaining sort of way. I actually like hand sewing. Look, Ladybug's is done. This is so cute. Okay, let's put it up on the mannequin to see what it looks like. Oh, she's adorable. This is so cute. It's actually just made of rayon or viscose fabric, so it's very, very lightweight, but it does have the 2 layers of netting as the structural layers, so it'll be fine once I beat it, but it's like literally picking it up, it's very lightweight. It would go beautifully with my poppy dress, I think. So yeah, and this is the actual jacket that inspired a lot of the different necklines as well. So I showed you the other side when I was doing the sewing competition, the sewing challenges. Oh, this is so cute. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, I'm not going to set the sleeves just yet. I'm going to do finish all the torsos first, and then I'll set all the sleeves, which I don't know about this, but yeah, I'll do it that way. And that way, yeah, because you sort of have to get in a sort of different mindset to set the sleeves. And this is the square neckline. Oh, she's very pretty, isn't it? It's very cute. Yes, I like this one. And this was another one where I had half a yard and it was fashion width, so it was a little bit more fabric. So I got the slightly longer sleeves on this one as well. All the rest have the super short, the cap sleeves. So yes. Oh, this one's lovely. It's so I chose all the fabrics. Of course I like them all. I had to go and do some other stuff, and now I'm back making jackets. So this is the first time I'm looking at the fabrics in a while. And they're just really, really cute. Anyway, this one is slightly longer than the you can see next to the multicolored floral one on the left there. And that's got the tiny sleeves. And then this one, I don't know why I'm trying to show you the back here. Once I finish them all, I'll do a 360 on all of them. But anyway, it's got the slightly scooped neckline, I think, and rounded front corners going up to a slightly shorter, slightly more cropped back. And these are all the different, like, they're weirdly bright, these beads. So I don't know whether to use them on the strawberry, the bright multicolored floral on black base, or that vintage one I used the other half of the fabric to do the burrito method video. So this is the second of the strawberry shortcake jackets, and this has got a v-neck like the original Burda 6120 jacket. So I'll switch between the 2 bits of footage. So this is the second one, this is the first one. So I think this one's got a shorter back and a slightly higher neckline, so it's kind of Chanel-ish, and then this one's the deep V. And sort of it does have the curved front, but it goes into a standard back rather than going up to a cropped back. I'll compare the two once I've finished them. I'm just very excited because they're actually starting to look like jackets. I feel like I've been working on these a very long time. Okay, I'll stop showing them to you. I'll go finish the rest. Okay, well, I did finish the rest, but I'm not going to stop showing them to you because they're awesome. Well, I just did a lot of hand sewing, so, I feel like showing you. So this is the second of the flamingo. No, this is the first of the flamingo ones. And then I decide that I have to do both of them and show you them both because I've got two very different sets of sleeves. One set of sleeves I could do the correct way up, but I had to piece together, like, so there's two different bits of fabric and I just hand stitched them together, whereas the other ones are sideways because that's it's very, very directional print, and the whole of the torso of both jackets is up and down, like the print is correct directionally. Whereas the sleeves, I've got the pieced ones, which I end up putting on the more formal jacket, the longer one. And I put the sort of sidewards ones on the cropped jacket, because I figure the longer one is a little more formal. Oh, and I mentioned this one, so I just thought I'd actually show it to you. So, the sleeves where the print goes the correct direction did end up on the longer one, and you can't really see the join. You can a little bit, but you can't really. This one is adorable, and the back's caught up, but it's quite cute. The way that it goes up at the back, I do like that. I wasn't sure if I would, but yeah, and this is me showing you. I'm not sure we need this much detail, since once they're finished, I'm just going to show them to you again. So this print was actually, the pink and white lines were diagonal at a 45-degree angle. So it would have looked weird, like I didn't have enough fabric. I probably would have had to get twice as much fabric if I wanted to work with the angle. But yeah, I just decided to turn it and fold the diamond into a triangle and cut out the pieces that way. So that one was interesting to cut out, but I got all the pieces out in the end. Again, the sleeves aren't, one set of sleeves is correct directionally, but the other set is not. I'll show you once I've done the whole thing. So this is me. All the hand stitching is done on all of the torsos. And of course I did the sleeves first. So now it is time to pin oh wow. Okay, that took a very long time. At this point, I think I've done 5 of them, and there's 11 jackets. I went a little overboard on doing jackets. I don't know what to say. And yeah, so I've done some of them, but I really wanted to pin all of them before I machine sewed the sleeves in. Yes, I am machine sewing. I know it's a terrible thing to do, but 11 jackets. 11. So I ran out of pins. So now I'm using my needles, and then I ran out of needles. So then I got my backup new packets of needles and started opening them. And just a reminder because I get a lot of people who say, oh, I once made this dress. It had one layer of bodice and one layer of sleeves, and it was really easy to attach the sleeves. Why are you going into so much detail? These are 3 layers of fabric. So there's 3 layers in the sleeves. There's 3 layers in the torso, and you have to get each of the layers together, and you have to pin them so that there's no little wrinkles, no little gathers. It's a lot of fabric. And at each of the joins, there's 6 layers of bulk. So yes, it's quite a process to make it look effortless. So there's a ladybug. So I still haven't hand stitched the seams up in seam allowance up into the shoulders, into the sleeves. So they will look more symmetrical and rounder once I've done that. But yeah, so I machine sewed them all, and pinned them all in, machine sewed them all, and then I did the ladybug, put the ladybug one on a mannequin because I had to do a short for YouTube. Well, didn't have to, I wanted to, because I did the ladybug jacket. I think the ladybug, well, I've got quite a few favorites actually. But yeah, so once I machine sew the sleeves in, the next step is to clip the curves in the bottom third under the sleeve. And because I've got really short sleeves, I also have to trim down the seam allowance in the undersleeve part. So I had to do that on all 11 jackets on both sleeves. So that's 22 times. And yeah, so that was it. That was enough because I've had quite the week. And yes, I was just like, I'm so over this. But I got them all done, and then I pinned all the jackets. I went around and pinned them from the outside so that I know where I have to stitch the seam allowance up into the sleeve. This is an old jacket. It also has 3 layers. It's got 2 layers of green netting and 1 layer of black gauze, or a very, very loosely woven fine cotton. And so I made the jacket and clipped the curves. Then I pinned both sides of the seam allowance up into the sleeve. And then I just stitch it once from the outside and then turn it around and stitch it once again from the inside. And that's how you get the nice rounded shoulders. And it's just a lot more structurally sound than just leaving, I don't know what other people do with their sleeves, but they complain that they fall apart, and mine don't, and this is what I do. This jacket ended up becoming the yellow floral jacket with all the yellow fabric flowers on it. So yeah. Oh, and this is me trying to show you that this is the sleeve that I pieced together out of 2 bits of fabric because I didn't have a scrap big enough to do the sleeves. And I think they're pretty good. I think it's, yeah, once you add beads sort of cascading over the top, I don't think you'll be able to tell that there's the sleeves were pieced at all. So yes, this is me being a little, yes, very proud of all my jackets, but I'm about to abandon them for the night because I've done quite enough work. At this point, I kind of accepted the reality that I'm not going to have time to make my Highland cowl jacket and finish these. I can either leave these the way they are and just show them to you without the stitched sleeves, and then I'll have time to make the Highland cowl jacket, or rushed version of the Highland cowl jacket, or I can just finish these and then save the Highland cowl jacket for another time, which I think I'll do because I decided when I got the fabric, I decided that I was going to talk about the Highland clearances and, why Highland cows are so... To tourists, they're just this cute, fluffy animal, but they symbolise much more to people who are Scottish, and I was going to talk about that, but I don't know, it's a bit bleak. So I think I will just finish these. And plus, next I'm going to make my next video. I'm probably going to do all my makes that I haven't shown you yet. And then I'll do a video on my make 9s. And one of my make 9s is an Edinburgh jacket. So I might do that as it's listed as Heart of Midlothian, which is Edinburgh. So I might do the Highland cow one as that jacket. Oh, and of course, I've been looking at more vintage brooches for my vintage brooch jacket. This is the Alexander McQueen one. My one's going to be sort of halfway between that and the Dolce & Gabbana brooch hot pants. Anyway, so I found some thistles because that's the national flower of Scotland, because of course it is. This one has whiskey coloured stones. I don't drink, but whiskey is very on brand for Scotland, and these ones are just, they're so beautiful. Some of them, there's this Art Deco one I'll show you at the end, and it is just sublime. And this one is kind of funny, but I don't know, I kind of like it. So yeah, there's all different ones. So I was seriously thinking about just doing a vintage brooch jacket that had, this one looks like a pineapple. All different, well, I've got loads of quilt pins too, so I could mix quilt pins in with designs that are, and then because you just Google something or you search something and it just gives you random stuff as well. So there's these orchids and they're just so bling. Oh, here's an Art Deco-ish one. And I don't think it's particularly Scottish, but look at this is what it looks like on like paper, and this is what it looks like on someone's hand. The stones are so different. So yeah, I think this one is a carnation, which made me search carnations and roses. That Art Deco one is gorgeous. So I was thinking maybe I could do a carnation and rose like with long stems and their stems crossed on the back. Perhaps. I do like the carnations, but the roses that I found, like obviously you can just draw a rose and then do it based on that. But I was looking and this one is way too bling. But I do have a lot of small bling stones. So yeah, I'm just sort of trying to match, and I do have a lot of sequin. So yeah, I'm just trying to match up what I have in my bead collection that I could use up with what I want to do. And this is the Art Deco Scottish thistle one. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, I am going to go and finish these jackets finally. And then I'll show you all my pink and red and, oh well, there's black and white floral ones as well. But mostly pinks and red. When you sew the seam allowance up into the shoulder, you basically just stare at the fabric for long periods of time. It's a good chance to think about how you're going to bead each of the jackets. So I shall go and do that. Be back when they're done. Okay, I just watched that back and I just randomly talk about the hot pants with brooches on them. These are the Dolce & Gabbana hot pants with, they don't actually have vintage brooches on them, but that's what it's supposed to look like. And this is them from the side. For the longest time, I didn't see a back shot of them. And I was like, how do you sit down in that? But there's like a black panel with a zip in the back. And yeah, so there are just embroidered like embellishments. So you stitch them on. A lot of them. Some of them are actual brooches, but the vast majority of them are just like things that you stitch on. And this is a close-up of the McQueen jacket. They just sort of made beaded ones and then pinned them on. Anyway, now we are finally up to today. And all I did today, sewing-wise, was hand stitch these things. That's all I did all day. So much fun. So anyway, and then I had this one. So it was a little bit cold here today. So I sat over on the sofa, nestled in my blankets, and I just did all the hand stitching. But I forgot one lot of threads. So that's why that pinky one with the sort of tealish denim one was over there. So here we go. And I pinned the sleeves down, but yeah. So this is what it is like at the moment. But once it's weighed down with beads, the sleeves won't be so sticky outy. So yeah, I like the square neckline, but now I don't like this jacket pattern. I'm sick of it. So I'm going to try a different jacket pattern next time, I think. But I've also got these patterns of all different sleeves, so I might get them out and have a look at them. So this is what this jacket looks like from the front, side and the back, and I really like this one. It's definitely going to have a big red triangle on the back of it, and yeah, but I don't know, the overall beading, I don't know. I thought gold because it's got those little gold highlights, but I don't know, maybe black, shiny glass beads, like heavy ones, because they're such tiny jackets. Oh, this one is adorable. This is me showing you. So it's made out of the ladybug fabric is viscose or rayon, so it's really, really lightweight and really thin, but I managed to make it work without any creases or any, yeah, it's pretty amazing because it's like this thin film over 2 layers of punched plastic basically. And oh, it's so cute. Ladybugs. I know it's just the one ladybug, but I've got this massive piece of ladybug fabric that's cotton sateen, and it's like 8 meters, which is the equivalent of 10 yards. And I bought enough to make a dress plus a jacket or 2 to go with it, like a jacket and a bolero to go with it. So yeah, I'll have to get that out, and I'll make, you know how in Sound of Music, she makes the whole, like all the kids, she makes some outfits out of the curtains. Well, I think I'll do that with my other ladybug fabric, and then I can have a capsule wardrobe that's all ladybugs. It will be so awesome. Anyway, so these are the strawberry shortcake jackets. The one on the left has the V, and then the other one is sort of the Chanel style, the traditional French open jacket neckline. And yeah, these are really sweet. I love them. And I think, I'll go with the pink, sort of very bright, garish pink beads on one, and maybe those beads that look like old-fashioned candy on the other, perhaps. I'm not sure. And but they're really sweet. And the shadows on the strawberries, they're not shadows, it's like light shining, and that's why it's white, not dark. But they still look weird to me. They look more like mold than spots of sun. Anyway, so these are the cherry jackets, and originally I bought this fabric because I have white sequin and I have bright pink sequin. And I was like, I'll just, sequin over the whole jacket in sort of these wavy rows. But now that I look at it, I kind of want dripping, like vertical garden chandelier type beading. On one, I'll do pink and red. And on the other, I've got these bits of kids' necklace, kids' jewellery, and they're cherries. And I wanted to buy the strawberries, but they're all mixed in together, so I had to buy the same amounts of I had to buy all the mixed packets. So I wanted, I can't remember, was it 20 or 40 strawberries? So anyway, I bought enough to get all the strawberries I wanted, which means I have the same amount of cherries. So I think I'll just dangle cherries down off the other one. Now, these are the two flamingos, and these are adorable. I think I'll do maybe black and white, or maybe black and black transparent shiny and black opaque beads on one in chandelier beading, and hot pink, pale pink, and perhaps sort of creamy white plastic pearls on the other. Plastic pearls. There is nothing tackier than plastic pearls, but I love them. They are so costume jewellery in a, Milan Fashion Week kind of way. I love them. And then I'll just have a really big pink triangle on the back, I think, perhaps. I'm not sure. Anyway, but I love these two jackets. They've just got a lot of possibilities. And I'm not sure about this neckline. I don't love it, but it's because it's wider, and I'm not sure it works on such a small frame, but I'm glad I tried it. So that is the two flamingos. And then we have this one, which is the leftover from the 1950s 3/4 sleeve bolero, with this one here has a really cropped back, and this one is the burrito method leftovers. And I keep walking past this on my way to my workbench. I keep walking past this big storage box of beads and occasionally knocking it. Ouch. And it's got this bag of buttons in there. So I was thinking I'll do the triangle on the back of the burrito method leftovers in all different patchworky looking pink, hot pink and pale pink buttons, and then the leftovers I'll do all over the jacket. And then I've got these tiny little plastic beads, but they look like seed beads in pale green, pink and white, and I could hang them down like vertical garden type situation, growing out of the big, all the misshaped beads, buttons. Maybe, perhaps. It's just an idea. And then we have the two floral ones. So the flowers that are stuck into the mannequin are the ones that are going to be on here, plus those plastic ones as well, the bead-shaped ones, flower-shaped beads. And then the other one, I don't know, I guess I'll do sort of vertical beading. I love the green in it. I bought it because it's black and white, and I was doing a so recreate the look for that Givenchy dress that Audrey Hepburn wore in that movie Sabrina, and it's just white and it's got like black lace flowers on it, and this is nothing like it really, but that's what the original idea was. But I really, really love the green. So one will have the flowers, the white, the clear glass and clear plastic flowers, and the other one I think I'll sort of emphasize the green because it's a really beautiful green. Anyway, so that is it. I've already this year, I've been desperately trying to finish at least 9 things each month. And I've already got, this month is 1 week old, and I've already got 11 things. So I don't have to worry about churning things out. I haven't beaded any of them yet, but that's good. So I don't have to worry about that for the rest of the month, and I can just focus on, so I'll do the catch up episode where I show you everything I made in the last few months of last year. And that will clear the rack as well, which will be so good because I'm sick of having, like, they're all fabulous. Everything on the rack is completely fabulous, but I'm kind of sick of having them there. They need to go away in their boxes and in the wardrobe and everything. And I really like these too. They're very cute. They remind me of ice cream sundaes with cherry on top. And these two are adorable. I wasn't sure about the flamingos, but because they're just such an odd print, but yeah, I like them. I can work with them. And we almost forgot these strawberry shortcakes, but here they are. So yes, that's it for this video. I made some jackets. That's all I did all week, sewing wise. But yeah, it was fun. They're lovely fabrics to work with, and it was nice to work with all the pinks. I feel like I have to go and watch Funny Face again now. You know, that's the old movie that Devil Wears Prada was kind of based on. It's about, Audrey Hepburn again works in she works in a bookshop in New York, and all these fashionistas just come and they just completely wreck the bookstore while they're taking photos, and then they kidnap her, and anyway, she ends up going to Paris. But the point is, it's a musical, and there's this song called Think Pink, and everyone dresses in pink except for the Miranda character, like the editor of the magazine. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've been inspired to, well, not make quite so many variations, but definitely think about different aspects, like different sleeves, different necklines, and yeah, use up some of your fabrics. Oh, and the sewing challenges, some of them are really good. I've already done the one where I use up 2 fabrics from my stash, and yeah. Oh, I could have showed you a before and after shot because I have a before thing of the fabrics. Ooh, look at all the lovely pink fabrics. No, I'm just trying too hard now, aren't I? But anyway, these are the lovely fabrics with all the potential in the world. And here they are, messily strewn all over my workbench, and then cut to the finished projects. So, I beaded one of them, and both of them have watermelons on the back of them, which are very sparkly and fabulous. Strawberry shortcakes. They are so cute. I really like those ones. And then ice cream sundaes with the cherry on top. The one with it's going to have like the cherry necklace bits and the green beads is going to be so fabulous. And then the flamingos. And that is it. That is it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've been inspired to make something frivolous and totally fabulous. And yeah, enjoy your sewing time. And yeah, that's it for this episode. See you next week. Ladybugs! Happy sewing.